Long and rich histories going head to head.
The difference between making history and being history one day.
400 World Cup cricket for Sachin Tendulkar.
Jerseys will be worn and chests will swell with pride on that one day. Passion will triumph logic on that one day. The power of belief will emerge from the hearts of a billion. Songs will be sung, dances will be danced, and eyes will widen in wonder on that one day. And when that day comes, and when that day finally comes, glory will be immortalized. This is the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup. For everything ever dreamt for, pushed for, lived for, it takes one day.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Vancouver with Naveed Waraich. We're here. We'll be talking about the 2023 Cricket World Cup, more on the 50-50 Cricket World Cup side of it. And I'm very honored to have right beside me Ron. And Ron has been one of the toughest cricketers when I was growing up, and what I've seen him. Ron Grahm has played locally here in BC and internationally. So we'll have the casual talk about cricket. As we know that everybody who's passionate about cricket, they've been watching cricket, they've been watching the scorecard, so we don't want to bore you with that. But we'll tell you with the street analysis of the cricket. So welcome, Ron.
Oh, welcome. Nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much. So I think we're going to have a few more episodes about this 2023 World Cup. But let's start with your journey first, just for the viewers' side of it, so that they understand how you enjoyed cricket in your young age.
I'm originally from Barbados in the Caribbean. I played professionally for Barbados. I was lucky to get a contract to play in England when I was 19 years old. Played against and with the great Malcolm Marshall, Desmond Haynes, Joel Garner. All those guys were rubbing shoulders with me, and I looked up to those guys, and I learned so much. Then I came to Canada when I was 25, 26, and I played for BC for many years, and I also played for Canada and traveled to Jamaica with the national team. And I also coached the BC team, and I don't play anymore, obviously, but I still have my hands on the pulse, because I'm passionate about what I see, and I would like to see our young people take this sport on, because there's a lot of money to be made, and it's also a good skill to keep your mind occupied.
I was lucky enough to play against you, and I remember your bowling, and just off camera I was telling him how in our cricket team, when one of our teammates, he was passionate about I want to do the opening, and then he saw him and he was like, Tauseef, can you pad up? So we've seen those days, and I appreciate how you played cricket, and I think at that time when I was trying to learn cricket, I think we learned some very punctual stuff from you, from hard work, and the real gentleman's cricket at that time. Let's switch on the 2023 World Cup, and let's start from the teams in 1990s. And being from Pakistan, we always remember 1992 because Pakistan won the World Cup. But besides that, just let's have the benchmark of 1990s and how you see teams today. How do you see transition of cricket and the improvement of cricket that has happened?
I wouldn't say so much for the improvement. There's a lot more cricket playing, so the players have all these franchise leagues. Also domestically in their countries, there's a lot of cricket going on, and it's expanding. The global market is expanding. It's gone now to I never played white ball cricket, so this is different. I play with a red ball, so this is just taken off for commercial reasons. There's a lot of business explanations coming from cricket, the way it's expanded. And the world teams have all got better. I think most of the teams are on the same level. I remember watching Afghanistan and Bangladesh couldn't even compete back in the 80s, 90s. Now they're shoulder to shoulder with us.
Yeah.
And upcoming, we got Nepal. I saw them in the Asian series.
Absolutely.
Nepal looks very good for the future.
Yeah.
So that's another team to watch for the next World Cup.
Absolutely. And not that it's today's topic, but in the T20s, Canada has qualified.
Yes, I saw that
So
today.
congratulations to all Canadians
Yes.
that they will see our own red uniforms in the T20. So in this 2023 World Cup, just 30,000 feet above again, and the games are happening in India. There are going to be 45 games. I think 5 games probably have been played up until now. Just not looking at the pitches, not looking at the environment, not looking at anything. Just take yourself out of 2023 World Cup in India. When you look at the teams, what are the 3 to 4 teams that you think they're doable, and what are the other underdogs that you think they can surprise us?
I would say India start off as the favorites. They're playing at home. Their conditions, all the players they've played all over India. They can adapt to the situation. But even at times they struggle in their own wickets because the other players from all over the world have all played IPL, so they know how to play in those pitches. So I heard Jadeja today. He was saying he had to field first. He was so excited because he knew he was going to do well.
Absolutely.
Right, and that's the big difference. But I say India is the favorites. England won it last time, and they've got a lot of chips on their shoulder. But I think they're an outside chance. I don't put them as favorites. Look out for South Africa and New Zealand. We'll never leave out New Zealand. The surprising teams to look for is the Netherlands. They did very well in the qualifying. They've got a reasonably good team, and I think on a good day they can probably take out one of those top teams. I'm expecting that to happen.
I think so, and I think I'm with you. India has got a good talent. I mean, regardless to say, I think they're number 1 team today. Pakistan is probably number 2 right now, but they cover all the bases.
Yes.
They've got the batting lineup. They've got the all-rounders. They've got the pinch hitters, and they've got the lower middle order batting that they can finish games. And above all, I think what India has surprised us all, or maybe they've been working hard on this one. They never were in 1990s, again from the benchmark.
Correct.
They never were known to be the best bowling attacks, right? But now they're very balanced with the fast bowlers like Bumrah's. Shami's not even playing, the big bowler right now, right?
I know.
So Siraj and then they've got spinners, and Hardik Pandya, I think is also given them the balance in terms of the all-rounder.
Looking for insurance that's as unique as you are? Well, you found it. Syed Tauseef Iqbal, your go-to expert for all your insurance needs. Whether it's your home, car, business, travel, or life insurance, Tauseef can help you to get covered. Call Syed Tauseef Iqbal at 778-680-1000 and experience the difference today.
Were you surprised by the off day from England when they played against New Zealand?
I was very much surprised. I was shocked. But it just show you on a good day, anybody can take you.
Anybody.
And I think when I overall looked at the game again, I think England was a little bit overconfident. I think they thought they're the champions, and I think they took the game a bit lightly. But that's why I'm saying England is another outside chance to get a look at, and also Pakistan. You've got the number 2 batter in the world for me is Babar Azam and Rizwan. Those guys, they're magic, right? And Pakistan just got to have a few things that they have to connect with on the day off, and they will contest as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Afghanistan, and you mentioned Afghanistan. I think we've seen them playing. I think their bowling lineup is up there with any other team. Especially with the spin attack, but now they've got the fast bowling attack at the same time, right? How do you rate them? Do you think that they can surprise a few teams?
I think they're going to struggle. I think their batting is not that strong, and they've got Rashid, they've got is it Muveed?
Yeah,
they're good bowlers,
they're good
but
bowlers.
This is a big tournament. This is where the men come out, and everybody's raising their game. It's a lot of money at stake, a lot of pride at stake. It's played in the subcontinent, so as I say, I'm looking at the Netherlands for some reason. Afghanistan could pull an upset, but I watched them the other day. I missed the game against Bangladesh and them, and so I didn't see how they fared. But I'm not looking at Afghanistan right now.
Yeah. Well, I think, and you're right about this. It's a long game, and I think their young talent is very good in T20s.
Yeah.
I think they're up there. But I think when you talk about 50-50, and if it's a placid, pitch and whatnot, that's not a problem. But I think if you look at Indian soil and Indian pitches, how they take turns and whatnot, the batting will not just go and you just go boom boom and you can finish it, right?
No.
You're gonna have to show some basic cricketing skills and batting skills.
Correct.
To show that you can survive for 50 overs. And if you lose a couple of wickets, the pressure's back on you. So it's not like a T20. So you're right about that. Maybe we can just move on quickly towards last night's game, and I think that was a game that everybody was looking towards, because Australia, they're able to challenge any team anywhere in the world, provided their talent and availability of players and fitness.
Yes.
And I always say that most of their players, they're playing the IPL, the PSL, so they played in subcontinent, they played in Bangladesh, and so they're quite regular now. However, what do you think when I was watching the game and when they started the game? Yes, they lost Mitchell Marsh, but at the same time, Warner, Smithy, and other people, I thought they somehow miscalculated the score, the main score, the goal of the score that they wanted to get to, or they were surprised by the pitch. I don't know what they were doing, but they weren't up there to attack. They were on the back foot. Why?
The England bowling attack, I think they've scouted the whole Australian lineup. They had 3 one-day games against them prior to the start of the World Cup, and they had a chance to actually do video and sort out all the weaknesses and strengths of all the batting. And if you look again at the game, the Indian bowlers were bowling wicket to wicket, right? Not a lot of width, and Waraich field placing was great. He took the slip shot after the third over, and just went kind of attack defense. So they bowled wicket to wicket, and then the spinners like Kuldeep and Jadeja and Ashwin, the slow balls, the Grahm ball, all those variations.
Yeah.
It made a difference because they couldn't hit through the line.
Yeah.
So they had to check all those shots.
Yeah.
And because of that, they hit the ball in the air and got out.
That's right.
Because they forced them to play. When India batted, Australia came on hard and got those 3 wickets right away.
6 runs, right?
And then there was that drop catch that changed the game.
Yeah.
But also they started bowling wicket to wicket, and all of a sudden they went offline.
Yeah.
And to have Kohli at the wicket, the guy's got determination, and Rahul, he hasn't had a bad score since he came from injury. So these guys are playing with a lot of ticker, and they're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, I think, and if you look at it, I think Virat Kohli has shown us the batting strength that he's got, and I think the calculation. We played cricket, and I probably played cricket at a very basic level, but you played a better cricket. It's usually not easy to calculate all of a sudden what you're doing, because we've seen him playing the long shots, hits and hit at his will. But he can also transform his game as he did last night. 6 runs, 3 wickets. All of a sudden you have a problem. Shubman Gill, they used to look after. He's not playing the game, and he knows the after him. If you lose 1 more wicket, not as much experience there.
Correct.
But the way KL Rahul and he played, I think there was a very, very mature cricket. And I think a lot of teams around them, they probably would learn from that. This is how we're going to play cricket in this World Cup, because it's not just go and hit.
Yeah. It's basically over by over. You have to dig in. And you're going to make some errors, but Virat had a chance. Rahul didn't give any chances. It was a spotless innings, and that was so beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
Stroke play. I wanted him to get 100, but it just shows you these guys they've raised their level. Absolutely. I mean, I watched India in the field. They were like young jackrabbits out there, and they look ready to play. And they've got the best 15 players selected. And I was rooting to get Ashwin in that 11. Now he's in, because And they will change the format because it depends on the pitches. They'll either play 3 spinners or 3 seamers. And it depends where they're playing and who they're playing against.
It was, I think the pitch was very difficult, even I think for any one-day standard, right? But that's a true, if you're India and you're playing in India, I think that's playing on your strength,
Yes.
right? So absolutely they will play those, they'll make those pitches for you,
Yeah.
they'll challenge the opposition. It's not a flat pitch, you come in, you hit, right? So you're in my soil.
That's right.
Play the game the way I play,
Yeah.
and show me if you can play better than that, right?
Yeah.
And you're right. I think the bench strength for India, that's huge. They can afford to lose a couple of players, no problem. Unlike any other team. When Australia was batting, I know you mentioned, but what was really, do you think that they were actually, their balance is not right? I know bowling we'll talk about, because bowling, absolutely they don't have the spinners other than Zampa.
No.
Right? So Maxwell is not a
No.
regular bowler, but he's been bowling good, but not. But where your opponent's playing with 3 spinners, you come up with 1 regular spinner and nothing else, right? So that's a leg spin, and then you don't have an off spin. But let's start with batting. How do you see, is their balance right?
The batting is not bad. It's just it didn't come off. And game planning, India had a good game plan, and Australia probably won the toss and thought they're going to put a good score up. But after losing march early, made a big difference. Put them on the back foot right away, and all of a sudden the bowlers zeroed in. As I said, wicket to wicket. It's hard to score runs when you're bowling wicket to wicket.
Yeah.
Plus the ball is moving a little bit, so big X factor.
Yeah.
It didn't work out the way they wanted, and that 200 runs was not a bad score.
Yeah.
On that type of wicket.
That's true.
And that's why India got off to a bad start. We got the first 3 batters got 0, which that doesn't normally happen.
Yeah.
And knowing that the next game's coming up, Waraich doesn't have to score because everything is on him. That's right. So we're going to see a different Indian team next game.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
well.
And they've got the all the weaponry.
Yeah.
They can chase 350. They can, they can do whatever. Spinning bowlers missing in Australians team. What do you think?
Well, since Sherman have gone passed on, and what's the other guy that they have plays in the Nathan Lyon?
Oh, Nathan Lyon, yeah.
Nathan Lyon, he's been injured.
Yeah.
But he doesn't normally play. He plays in the one day, but he's been injured, and they're missing him because he has a lot of variation.
Yeah.
Zampa is not quite there yet. I think the problem with him is playing too much T20 cricket.
Yeah.
Because the bowling length in T20 cricket and one day in Test is very different.
Very different.
And it's hard to make that transition. And when you talk about Kohli, he plays all 3 formats.
Yeah.
And he bats different in each format. Yeah. That's a skill level and a hard work ethic. And I don't think all the players that are playing in this tournament have the same work ethic.
Absolutely.
And that shows you the men against the boys.
That's correct.
Say.
Well, that's very correct, right?
Yeah.
Well, and not to match Australia with Sri Lanka, but I think with Sri Lanka, if you look at it, one of their slingy bowler, and I wouldn't remember the name, but they just picked 18 years old because he played well in T20, right? So a lot of teams now tend to attract that talent. But yes, it's going to be an experience and a learning curve. Maybe World Cup is not the right venue to do that. But if you haven't played the long 10 overs, right? If your captain wants you to bowl 6 overs or 7 overs, you will need to be in a good stamina and good shape.
Yeah.
It's not a 4 overs game where you bowl 2 overs and 2 overs at the very end, right? It's not going to happen.
No.
And so I think that's what they're missing. Let's switch to another super team that I believe have made a habit of making 400 runs. And I don't know. I think I was suspecting somebody's going to score 400 runs. I didn't know they'll score 428 in the first game.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with South Africa, man?
What I can say with South Africa, it's a hit and miss. Some days they look really good. Some days they look pretty horrible.
Yeah.
That's the highest score ever in the one-day game, 428.
3 centuries. 3 centuries.
3 centuries. And the last century was in like 54 balls or something.
Yeah.
That was a lot of hitting.
Yeah.
You look at the bowling, it was all over the place, obviously.
Yeah.
And as I say, if you bowl wicket to wicket, it's hard to score.
Absolutely.
And they were in that zone, right? The Cock, this is his last World Cup. So all these guys want to finish strong. And then the new guys like Markham and Rassen, what's his name?
Van der Dusen?
Van Dusen, yeah, he's coming up. All these guys are the future.
Yeah.
So these guys are all taking a place for the future.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's good for South Africa. South Africa as well, they're going to have problems with the bowling.
Yeah.
Right? Because Rabada has been playing 3 formats, but he looks tired.
He looks tired.
He looks tired.
He looks tired.
And the other bowlers, Jensen's okay, but not quite on the mark. Yeah. And the spinner, not quite there.
Not quite there, and I think they T20 they depend a lot on Shamsi.
Yeah.
But they're not playing Shamsi. Maybe another. But spinning, you're going to need to have a spinner.
Yeah.
And you're going to need to have plenty of spinners in your team to do well. But if you can score 400 and something runs in every other inning or something, I think you can get by.
I don't see it happening twice. Lightning doesn't strike twice. we all hope.
Yeah.
Because you gotta understand, I played professionally, and what we do, we look up films, right? So when we're at home getting our sleep, these guys are looking at film, and the coaches are breaking down all the other things that they need to do. So fill those gaps. So now the first round is over, you'll see a different brand of cricket for the second round.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because all the teams are going to move up a notch.
So switching one more team, you mentioned, and you're right about being impressed from Netherlands, because I think from almost nowhere, I think they're bowling and they're hard hitting, especially in the opening side of it, and they're one down. Netherlands been doing well. How do you see, and how did you see the game between Netherlands and Pakistan? Where Pakistan, honestly, I used to watch a lot of cricket, and then I sort of lost a little bit of touch. But then again, this is a World Cup again, and the passion's inside. In your stomach, you say, "Yeah, I gotta watch it," even it's at 1:30 a.m.
Yes.
So you're watching cricket, and it felt like the world-class spinners and the fast bowlers are bowling, and they've got all the tricks in their bag, and the Pakistani batsmen, whether it's the number 1 Babar Azam, Rizwan probably played better, but our openers Imamul Haq, Fakhr, they were all looking lost.
Yeah.
They could not score a single out of them, and they got stuck.
Yeah.
How is their bowling, Netherlands?
The Netherlands have nothing to lose. They have more to gain. So you can understand how they perform. And they actually give Pakistan a little bit of a scare. But they didn't have quite enough depth to take it to the end. And that's what they're going to be lacking. But I said on a good day, they will probably challenge Bangladesh and probably Afghanistan.
That's
for sure. Because they're basically almost on par.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम जी, मैं हूं शाजिया मंजूर, और इस वक्त जो लोग मुझे कनाडा में देख और सुन रहे हैं उनको मैं ये बताना चाहती हूँ, और ये बताते हुए मुझे बहुत खुशी महसूस हो रही है कि आई एम डूइंग एन एक्सक्लूसिव टूर फॉर शौकत खानम कैंसर हॉस्पिटल एंड रिसर्च सेंटर। शौकत खानम कैंसर हॉस्पिटल एक ऐसा कॉज है जो हमेशा मेरे दिल के बहुत करीब रहा है, और मुझे इंतहाई खुशी है कि मैं इसके लिए परफॉर्म करने जा रही हूँ अक्टूबर में कनाडा में। तो ताकि हम जो कराची का हमारा प्रोजेक्ट है हम उसको कंप्लीट कर सकें, और जो हमारे कैंसर पेशेंट्स हैं उनकी ज़िंदगियों को हम तब्दील कर सकें और वो सेहतमंद हो सकें। तो आई विल बी देयर जी इन 2023 अक्टूबर कनाडा। तो आप सबसे मिलके मुझे बहुत खुशी होगी, और बहुत जल्दी हम मुलाकात करेंगे फॉर दिस टूर। थैंक यू सो मच।
How's your analysis about Pakistani batting?
They haven't clicked yet. Babar, you got 5, and I tracked all these good players. If they don't score runs the first game, he'll make runs the next game.
Yeah.
Because he has to.
Yeah.
He'll lift this game. These guys play with a lot of pride and passion, and him and Rizwan together, they bat in tandem. Yeah. And Fawaz Zaman, these guys will make runs. I no doubt that Pakistan will raise their game. But the issue is going to come out of their spinners as well on those wickets, because the seam bowlers, Shahi's good, but and Hafraf, he's very quick, but the Indian wickets don't give you a lot of pace. And when the ball's all, you got to use the variation, and that's where it's going to come in.
And as a bowler, I think that's a right area that you're touching right now. So abrasive pitches, and after 25 overs, and if it's not a dew factor. you think it's going to be reverse swinging in a few venues?
I don't find the white ball reverse swing as much as the red ball, because if you look at the ball at 30 overs, the lacquer's off it. You can see all the brown spots.
Yeah.
So the ball's not doing anything.
Not much.
It's all variation. So if you've got two good batters at the wicket and a flat wicket, they're going to make runs. And it's up to the players to make the mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? They hit a six and get caught in the boundary or whatever, that can happen. But this is the World Cup, so everybody's coming to play.
That's right.
And I'm expecting wonders. It's not over yet.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you my own wish story about Pakistan, being from Pakistan, right? And we're going to come to West Indies after this. So talk about Pakistan. I personally think, yes, few of our players, Pakistani players, they're not really up and running. You know, Fakhar Zaman we mentioned. Even Imamul Haq, he's been scoring runs, but we haven't seen the fluency in the last match. So you hope that that'll happen. Babar Azam, he can click anytime. Rizwan, he will play a run-a-ball game. So you've got the cricket there. But I'm really thinking, because of the similar conditions to Indian cricket soil, I think Pakistan have a chance, and they may be able to surprise. I think the other thing is, Pakistan is known for waking up on the wrong side some days, right? But when they do that, what suits them is a longer format. So this one is a longer format, and if you also think about that, the teams can score 400 runs. I don't think Pakistan has the potential of 400 and chasing 400 runs. I don't think they even go for that.
Yeah.
But because of the pitches, and if maybe there are a couple of pitches they'll be as placid as to score high runs. But if it's going to be the pitches like last night with Australia and India, I think the scores would be around 250. And if you could score 300, 325, I think that's in the range of Pakistan. Pakistani spinners, the same thing. Shadab Khan and others, I think they're very T20 type of players. But if they're getting help from these wickets, they might be able to contain. And again, I think you mentioned it very correct that they're going to have to bowl wicket to wicket, and you have to catch the length as well. You don't have a choice of dropping short, because either way you're going to go get another six. But let's talk about what you saw in your younger age, and what you became, how you served wherever you were. That was all West Indies cricket. And again, I think when we were young kids, we've seen the pictures of Clive Lloyds and Viv Richard. I mean, you can't think this next batsman. Even today, somebody talks about Virat Kohli, and we're like, no, Sir Viv Richards, right? And all those, I think, names and stuff. So how do you? We all know what West Indies cricket is going through, and all the political reason and all the commercial reasons. But number one, let's start with this. How do you see where West Indian person, anywhere you're from, right? Any one of the islands. What's your expectation from a West Indies national cricket team?
Wow. I have this chat daily on with fellow Wallace and some of the ex-players in college skinny. These guys are always chatting about this cricket and our West Indian players. The problem with the West Indies right now, it's all about monetary value. Everybody's looking for money, and they're not willing to put the work in, and that's what's missing. We need to go back to the grassroots and bring these players up from the grassroots, having to have passion and belief in what they're doing and their craft. And what I'm noticing over the last few years, a fella comes off the spotlight, makes a couple runs, and he gets the IPL contract. Big problem for me, because it's missing a lot of technique, bowling technique, batting technique, and people get caught up. Oh, I'm so good. I remember Carlos Brathwaite in the T20. He won the World Cup for the West Indies. I don't remember what year it was. And I remember the Bishop saying, "Remember the name." Well, you know, Carlos Brathwaite hasn't made 50 runs since that. No. He hasn't done nothing. Yeah. And these things go to people's heads, and people think that they're really that good, but they're not. Yeah. And that's what I'm finding right now. Our players are not that talented. Yeah. We've got one batsman down there, Shea Hope. He's probably the only bright light there. Yeah. With the rest, not really. They're missing. right? They're missing a lot of technique.
Do you think they can surprise? They have
No.
some surprising element. You never know.
It's going to take a while for us to rebuild, right?
Yeah.
We are going to compete in the T20 next year,
Yeah.
and we might do well because that's the format that we seem to like most.
Yeah.
But you got to look around the other teams; they're just as good. So West Indies can't just take it lightly.
Yeah.
Hitting the ball for six every ball. You got 4 overs, you can hit the ball with you still have to bat properly.
Absolutely.
And if you watch Virat Kohli, he plays cricket shots. Baba Azam plays cricket shots and still scores quickly.
Yeah.
That's the game for me rather than swiping.
Yeah.
Because you can bowl against swipers.
Absolutely.
You can do variation against guys that want to hit you at the park. You'll get them out easily. But a player that has technique, you have to work him out differently.
That is correct.
Takes a lot more work. And we're missing that.
Absolutely. And any of the ballers that you think West Indies have the talent, the new talent that's coming in?
There's nothing left. The only last person we had was Kim Waraich.
Yeah.
And he's getting a bit long in the tooth now. And the other youngsters there's nobody I could handpick.
No.
There's nobody I can think about. So I'm reaching out to all these youngsters that were at my school. Watch the game, watch the videos, right? Invest yourself in watching the greats that you admire, not just the guys that have gone before, the guys that are playing now, and try and learn from that, right?
And Ron, you're right. I think the fun cricket, playing different, PSLs, the IPLs, and they're very professional there. But at the same time, it's a fun cricket, right?
It's fun cricket.
You go, you make money. You don't need to be disciplined, right? This is your time to come back, and you can't leave the hotel room and whatnot, right? And this is what you can eat. This is what you can't eat. This is what you can do. So that all discipline, nobody wants to do that because I'm making money. That's good enough money for me, right? So I think that's one of the reason West Indies and many other cricket teams, I think, we're missing that commitment from the players to get to the level to where you get to. But I think if you look at India, the Indian cricket players, they're making money through IPL and tons of money. I think as close to now the soccer team as it could be. But they are still able to produce professional cricketers. They have the hunger and the thirst to become the national player and to be the number one in the ICC ranking of the Test cricket and the one-day cricket. But why not West Indies? At one time we know that people were more in the basketball and other things, and they were more. This is where the money was. But then the good thing happened with these leagues, cricket leagues, that we saw then cricket players coming in. DJ Bravo and all those. Everybody loves them, right? But why are we not producing those players with the national shirt?
You got to go back to the grassroots, the development of the youth, and also the cricket boards got to be in sync. Now most of these teams have players association, and there's a disconnect. And if you look at the BCCI, which is the Indian Cricket Board, they've got it right. They're going in the right direction. You talk about the ICC, they're actually going to take over from the ICC.
Right.
And if you notice that all the IPL is played when nobody else is playing, it's all set up that way. It's big market. So the board is doing the right things for the India cricketers and the youth. And if you watch, there's a lot of good talent coming from the IPL. And these youngsters want to play for India. They want to wear the blue shirt. They're going to make money. Money's there, no problem. But they have to have pride in what they're doing. Yeah. And that's lacking in some of the other international teams, especially the West Indies. We've got issues with the board and the disconnect with the Players Association. And also the coaching and development is a problem that we are having right now. I remember the Seymour nurse, Charlie Griffith, coming to the schools and coaching us when we were in school. We're not having that anymore.
Big. Yeah.
And it was so disciplined.
Yeah.
So disciplined. You drop a catch. Just before we finish our training, you drop a catch. Everybody goes back.
Yeah.
Sometimes on a hot day, everybody shows up to practice. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do fielding and catching. Because when it rains, people don't show up for training. Yeah. So these coaches were mentally strong on us. And as I said, you spare the rod, you spoil the child. And it's the same thing that we do with our kids in today's world. The discipline is gone, and it's the same thing for cricket.
Yeah, and just before the wrap up, I remember the Viv Richard, I think the great Viv Richard, I think when he mentioned that, he says one wrong shot in your practice can haunt you in the actual game.
Exactly.
So they were that disciplined, when they were even practicing, they were right up there. But good luck to West Indies, Ron, and very nice talking to you. I think the viewers must have enjoyed your analysis as well. I guess we will keep on bringing the analysis of the next matches until next week. And until next week, you can leave us messages on the Facebook and all social media. Just follow the Vancouver with Naveed Waraich program and leave us with your feedback. And if you have any questions, leave it to us. We can answer your questions in the next game. Again, thank you very much, Ron.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it.
When he called me today, I'm like, this is great. I'm on board. I love this.
Awesome. Thank you. And have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
This is the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup. For everything ever dreamt for, wished for, lived for, it takes one day.